Hello, Tashidelek everybody, Plakar Sang, and happy Wednesday. Tashidelek everybody, and I hope everybody is doing well. So today, on this continue Wednesdays with Rinpoche, I want to welcome all of you here. And so today actually topic I wanted to talk a little bit on this Buddha nature. In Tibetan we say kam dewarship nyingbo. Kam dewarship nyingbo means kam means like nature. Dewarship means like enlightenment or Buddhahood, and nyingbo means essence. So like the essence. So somehow in Tibetan, when we actually say Buddha nature, we say kam dewarship nyingbo. And sometimes we also say like a short form, which is kind of like a simply sanje giri. Sanje means Buddha or enlightenment. Rik means like a nature. So it's kind of like a Buddha nature. So somehow this is actually one of the most important things that Buddha actually said in his teaching. Somehow, and this is also like when we say Buddha nature, so somehow it is kind of like do we have a like a nature, like it's kind of like if we are all sort of like seeking to become enlightened being, to become Buddha, or to reach ultimate happiness state of mind, right? So somehow when we say enlightenment, so there are many different ways of actually understanding it, right? Sometimes like in Tibetan and Sanskrit also there are so many different names for the enlightenment. And then when you translate it into English, then there are like so many names like enlightenment, awakened state. But if we actually look at like the this kind of simple meaning is ultimate happiness state of being. So it's kind of like an ultimate happiness state of mind. So somehow that kind of like we all intrinsically, right? Like in Tibetan we say rangshinki, majeba, without kind of like making or construction, without any constructing or without any influence, somehow not only human being, like if we look at all the animal around us, and so like if we like from the Buddhist point of view, we also say all sentient beings, right? So sentient beings, like when we say sentient beings, the being throughout the universe, somehow that is like totally immeasurable, right? There's, like if we actually look into like just kind of like even to think about like throughout the universe, right? Throughout the space, throughout, just kind of like if we kind of like keep looking into this universe, sort of like a infinite universe, right? Like it is totally infinite. It is just totally, there is no such thing as like it is somewhere, the space stopped somewhere, right? It is just like, if we look into, like, if we just think that where does the universe actually end, then basically universe doesn't end. Universe kind of like the existence doesn't end, right? There's no end of existence. So it's kind of like to think about the infinite nature of the universe, infinite nature of the existence, then just kind of like our limited mind actually cannot conceive it, right? Our limited mind kind of like to think about the limitlessness nature of existence, then it is just like mind-boggling, right? It's just like somehow it will, like the limitless nature of existence doesn't fit into our limited mind. So because we have such a limited mind, right? Our mind is so limited. Our mind is like kind of like what do you call? It doesn't go really beyond, right? It doesn't go kind of like beyond, like something to actually even just to imagine, something just to think about the limitlessness, then our limited mind will little bit freak out, right? So that is why kind of like at this point, our mind is sort of like limited. So then the question is, right? The question is, if our mind is so limited, then does this mind actually have a potential to become unlimited? Then answer is yes. Yes, this mind that we have, this consciousness that we have, somehow it is just kind of like because we don't know how limitless kind of like potential it has. So we don't know that potential. So there is a potential to totally become limitless, right? So somehow, just kind of like when we say sentient beings, like so sentient beings exist. So if the universe, if the existence is so limitless, it just keep going on and on and on, then within that existence, like in the limitless existence, there should be limitless inhabitant. There should be limitless being too, right? So beings are, so somehow when we say sentient being, so like it is like a totally limitless sentient beings. So somehow these limitless sentient beings, we all, not only human being, not only animals, not only some, you know, like the beings that some like we don't know. So all these beings somehow, like ourselves, we are all naturally, intrinsically, right? Intrinsically, just kind of like wanting to be happy, right? We all want it to be happy, and we all don't want it to be, you know, suffer. You know, we don't want to suffer. We don't want suffering, right? We want happiness. We don't want suffering. So that, like, why do we want happiness and why we don't want suffering? So that's somehow I don't know, maybe if there is a reason or not. But maybe why we are wanting to be happy, I don't think there is a reason. There's no reason. But somehow it is something from deep inside of our mind, deep inside of our being, deep inside of our consciousness. There is something that we kind of like know. There's something that we know, that happiness is achievable. So happiness is achievable, and somehow we are not doing things to be happy. So that is why it is just kind of like this drive, wanting to be happy, like trying to achieve happiness. This drive is an intrinsic drive. So that is kind of like that happiness also, we are not looking for some sort of like a temporary happiness, right? So because we have that intrinsic drive towards happiness, and then many times what happens in our day-to-day life is we mistake contemporary, we mistake worldly happiness as a happiness, and then it's just kind of we go after some happiness that is not real happiness, right? So that is kind of like that doesn't mean that we are actually not looking for ultimate happiness. So somehow ultimate happiness is something that we are all looking, and we kind of like do we have a potential, sort of like we all wanting to be happy, and then like this happiness is also what we are looking for, is a sort of like absolute happiness state, or some sort of like a forever happiness, right? Sort of like a forever happiness, kind of happiness that remain always happy, right? That kind of happiness, something that we actually want. Then are we just wanting, and is that possible? Can we achieve it? Can we reach that state of happiness? If the answer is no, then there is no hope, right? There's no hope. So it's just like if answer is no, then better stop looking, right? Better stop looking for happiness, and just be okay with the suffering, right? Just be okay with suffering, and be with it, and don't waste our time and energy looking for it, right? But then that is impossible for us to stop looking for it, right? It is just because this drive is something intrinsic, that it is there. Everybody has it. So that's kind of like that is so somehow like yes, we can achieve it. So yes, we can actually achieve happiness. Why? Because we have that potential. So that is like, if I put it in a very simple language in our day-to-day life, then Buddha nature means potential to become Buddha, or potential to achieve ultimate happiness state of being. So that is the Buddha nature. So then that Buddha nature, Buddha actually in his scripture, he taught Buddha nature in many different sutras. So somehow, why? Because that's one very important thing, right? It is the most important thing actually, that if we are seeking happiness, or if we are seeking enlightenment, if I don't have a potential to become enlightened, then what is the point of actually seeking enlightenment, right? So that is why we have to know that we have that potential. So that is why, like a Buddha, not only few times, in many occasions of his teaching, somehow he actually taught that we all do have a Buddha nature. So every sentient being, every sentient being, each one of us have that Buddha nature. So then, this teaching, somehow in the Maitreya, the Maitreya, has some commentary, Tenju, right? Tenju, one of them is the Gyulama. Gyulama means Uttara Tantra in Sanskrit. So in that text, actually, I actually put that in my Facebook, like a moment page, right? So that is, I put the Tibetan version and I translated myself, and I looked into, there are so many different way of translating that. So what actually Maitreya, said is he gave three reasons, sort of like why we have Buddha nature. Why, if we have a Buddha nature, then how can we know? How can we know that? What is the reason? Why do we have it? So somehow to make our conceptual mind to actually understand, right? Our conceptual mind need to understand first. We're just kind of okay, I have a Buddha nature, then what is your reason? What is the reason? So he actually put three main reasons. So that is the word from the Uttara Tantra. So in the Uttara Tantra, Maitreya actually said, that is the first reason. So that is actually, I translated that into English Zoksang Ku means, Zoksang, Zok means complete. Okay, Zopa means complete. Sang, like a Sangye Sang. So Sang also means clear, clear from, for example, in Tibetan we say Sangpa means if the Mumba Sangpa means darkness cleared. So clear. So if you kind of look at this word Zoksang means complete cleared or completely clear. Complete clear. Kuni means so ku many times ku is actually translated as a body. So ku means body, but body not necessarily means physical body, right? Like sometimes in English word also sort of like a body doesn't mean some our body. So for example, there's we say everybody, right? Everybody, or sometimes we use the word body for the body of the structure, it's just kind of like the completeness, right? The completeness of that. So Zoksang Ku means complete, clear, truth body. So here, what is that truth body? So this truth body, Zoksang Ku, we have to understand what Maitreya was actually saying is complete, clear, truth body. So complete, clear, truth body, what is that actually, right? Now that will raise another question, right? What is the complete, clear, truth body? So Zoksang Ku. Sometimes, sometimes people actually don't understand that meaning. So they actually say that the physical body, the physical form of the Buddha, the physical form of the Buddha, a Zoksang Ku, right? That body. Chochita means it's Toa means actually there are many meaning for that. Toa means actually it means radiating, illuminating, emanating, right? Toa, there are many different meaning, but I think it means permeating, sort of it is something that pervading, right? Pervading, permeating. So it's shining. So there are many different meaning. So I think the it will give a complete meaning if we say permeating thoroughly. So I don't know what is the meaning you are getting here. This is the first reason Maitreya actually said. Why do we have a Buddha nature? Because complete clear truth body is permeating thoroughly. So if I say this, what is the meaning that you're getting? But we have to know. Complete clear truth body. What is complete clear truth body? That in Tibetan we say semgi chunyi. Semgi chunyi means nature of mind. So emptiness nature of mind. So emptiness, ultimate nature of mind. So ultimate nature of the mind is the complete clear truth body. Why it is complete clear truth body? Is because it is completely cleared from independently exist, inherently exist. It is completely clear, right? Like our mind, actually, our mind, the ultimate nature of our mind is, it is not something independently exist. It is not something inherently exist. It exists non-inherently, right? It somehow it is Demar Matruba. Demar Matruba means it doesn't exist from its own side. Doesn't exist from its own side. Rangwana Matruba, like sometimes we say Rangwana Matruba, means it is not exist from its side. So somehow our mind, the ultimate nature of our mind, the emptiness nature, that is the ultimate nature of our mind. So that ultimate nature of mind, the emptiness of, right? Emptiness of our mind. So complete clear truth body, that is complete, clear from inherently exist nature. So that is the emptiness nature of mind. Is permeating thoroughly, means it is actually permeating. So all our mind, right? Our mind and all the sentient beings, every sentient beings throughout the limitless space, throughout the universe, every one of us, we all do have a mind. So this mind that we have, somehow it is equally inherently, not inherently exist. It is not inherently not exist. It is not exist from its side. Somehow it is all existed interdependently, right? So there is no such mind, something that is exists by itself, right? Mind that is exists by itself. So mind, then that is the ultimate, ultimate. So here actually it is talking that the first reason is our mind, all sentient beings' mind is inherent, not inherently exist. It is not inherently exist. It is not exist from itself. So that is the first reason. So because our mind is not inherently exist, if our mind is in a kind of like, if it does exist inherently, then it is inherently exist there. So then it is not something, it will not change, right? It will not change. So it will kind of like, it will not change. It is kind of solidly somewhere there. So if it is solidly somewhere there, then there's a kind of like how can we become Buddha? Right? How can we become Buddha? We will not become Buddha, right? So that is why the first reason, so that is, it is very deep, actually, very deep meaning that why do we have a Buddha nature? So when we say actually Buddha nature, so what is Buddha nature? Like if we actually kind of like, if we want to grab like something, right? If we want to grab something, so say like for example, okay, so I have a Buddha nature, you have a Buddha nature. So what is Buddha nature? Then, here, like when we actually learn what is Buddha nature, then we have something that the definition of the Buddha nature. the definition of the Buddha nature, to be able to understand the definition of the Buddha nature, what we have to know is there are two types of Buddha nature, right? One is called actually nature, intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature of Buddha, like intrinsic Buddha nature. And then another one is called Gengyur. The first one is Rangshin Neri. In Tibetan we say, if some of you actually understanding Tibetan, then it will be helpful for you to understand, right? Like a Rangshin Neri. Rangshin Neri. In English it is kind of like a, what do you call, intrinsic. Rangshin means intrinsic, naturally, kind of like exist, right? Naturally exist Buddha nature. That is one. And that somehow it is kind of exist everywhere, like in all sentient beings. And then second type of Buddha nature is called Gengyur-giri. Gengyur-giri actually means, Gengyur means evolve, evolving, or like a, so that kind of like a, the difference between these two is like somehow the intrinsic Buddha nature, it doesn't matter who, everybody, even though somebody who somebody who doesn't accept, somebody who doesn't believe that they don't have a Buddha nature, that Buddha nature still exists in them. So Gengyur means something like caused by, or gengi, conditioned by your, conditioned by your knowledge, conditioned by your wisdom, conditioned by some, kind of like some study and learning, that you actually learn that you have the Buddha nature. Then, that kind of like a nature actually changed a little bit, right? So that first there is a natural intrinsic Buddha nature. And then, this intrinsic Buddha nature, somehow, when someone actually guides, tell you, or like somebody actually pointed you that you have a Buddha nature, and then you are like, aha, yes, I think I do. And then, like as soon as you know that you have the Buddha nature, then what happened is it conditioned your Buddha nature, and then it shifted, it changed. Your Buddha nature actually, it is starting to, the potential, that nature is starting to right, starting to grow. So that is called the Gengyur, evolving Buddha nature. So anyway, so this intrinsic Buddha nature, it has two, actually, one is, we call Duche, Dumache, means one is, one is, what do you call, impermanence one, and one is the permanent, something that, Maitreya, unconstructed. So, what are the constructed one, what do you call, not constructed, unconstructed one is the Simgi Chunyi. So emptiness, right? Emptiness of mind. So ultimate nature of the mind. So ultimate nature of the mind is the Dumache, Ranshineri. And then, there is a ZaChoeje Sim, that mind itself. So the mind itself is not permanent, right? It is changing momentarily. So that mind, that is something, the mind that exists continuously, the consciousness that exists continuously. There is a consciousness that come from past life to this life to next life. So throughout our past life, there is a consciousness, right? This our consciousness, this essence that remain. So that essence is the mind or consciousness, and that is the impermanent one. So anyway, this, to be really able to understand this deep meaning of a Buddha nature in our monastic academic system, actually, we have to get many hours of teachings from our, teachers, And not only that, we have to do debate on that. So there's like when we actually go into the debate of the Buddha nature, then somehow it actually goes very deep, because it goes into the deep sort of like what is the difference between mind and the nature, ultimate nature of mind, right? So what is the difference? So somehow that is like we have to understand, right? So mind itself is impermanence. The ultimate nature of the mind is permanent. Then how come, right? So then it will come into the next second reason. The first reason is right? Complete clear truth body is permeating thoroughly. The second one is so that is second one is why all sentient being has a Buddha nature. Another reason, the second reason is absolute reality, right? Absolute reality nature, that is the Tishinyi. So suchness, sometimes we translate that as a suchness, absolute reality nature. Tishinyi ye me means the absolute reality nature of existence is inseparable, indivisible, which means like we are not enlightened being, right? We are not enlightened being, and then there is an enlightened being. So is there a difference between my ultimate nature of mind and the ultimate nature mind of the Buddha? Buddha's and like Buddha's mind, ultimate natures of Buddha's mind and ultimate nature of our mind, no separation. It is same, non-dual. There is like that's kind of like because it is one taste, right? It is like the ultimate reality nature, the ultimate nature of the Buddha's mind and ultimate nature of our mind, right? All beings' mind. So it is not between us and Buddha, but me and you, we all sentient being, my mind and everybody's mind. The ultimate nature of the mind is inseparable. So ultimate nature of my mind, ultimate nature of your mind, inseparable. They are indivisible. It is one. So one taste. So that is another reason. So why we have a Buddha nature? Because my actually ultimate nature of mind, my ultimate nature, your ultimate nature, our all ultimate nature, even the ultimate nature of Buddha, from the ultimate point of view, from the emptiness point of view, it is one taste. One taste. So there's kind of like there's no difference. It is inseparable. So that is like if we understand that it is one taste, then we will actually understand that we will understand our Buddha nature. That is the second reason. All right. And then let us go into the third one, right? That is the second, right? Absolute reality nature of all existence is inseparable, indivisible, right? Ryu Chinna Lujenkun, Ryu Chinna, so that is the word, Ryu Chinna. And because, so this is like and because of means, so all the previous two of them is reason. And because of limitless potential exists in all being. So somehow the potential that we have, Ryu Chinnas, means because the potential is there. Because the potential is there, so that is why this potential is equally there. We have a potential, so it is like, and what kind of potential? So the potential that we have in our mind is totally limitless. So it is limitless potential. So potential, from the potential point of view, so sometimes we think that, okay, potential, what is potential? Like, if we actually look into the potential, then we will actually understand even the mundane, right? Even the mundane thing, like for example, if there is a one seed, right? This one seed of an apple, actually, what do you think? One seed of an kind of like a undamaged, right? What do you call it? One appropriate apple seed. What do you think? This one seed, actually, that is not damaged. And if you look at this one seed, what do you think? This seed of an apple has a limitless potential or not? Does this has a potential to grow into, like, it is a potential to give millions and trillions of apple? What do you think? Right? So potential is there. So there's kind of like a potential means it is possible, right? Possible. So it is, so somehow, so limitless potential, this somehow, we have a limitless potential. Potential is limitless. So that is why, right, the potential exists in, like limitless potential exists in all being. So because of that, we are all, they are all. So, like Maitreya was saying, all the sentient beings, they are all endowed. Endowed with Buddha nature. Means always. So it is like so there's always, maybe I miss one word here, so I should put, they are always, right? They are always endowed with Buddha nature. They are always, always endowed with the Buddha nature. So it's not like sometimes we have a potential with Buddha nature, sometimes we don't have a Buddha nature. It's not like that. So that is why the potential, limitless potential is there. So these actually one verses, like, I remember in the monastery, we debate on that for many, many days, many, many hours. Okay, so it's kind of like still, like a kind of, there is to go deep into the meaning of this Buddha nature. And so, in our debate, one thing that we actually memorize this one stanza, and just kind of like, and this 4 line, right, 4 sentence that I have translated, just think, okay, contemplate on that, just think, and so see what is the meaning that you're getting, because in Tibetan, when we actually think, so if you are non-speaking Tibetan, then somehow you have to rely on some translation. So of course, I'm not saying my translation is best. You can actually Google it, right? Like Uttara Tantra, Buddha nature. If you put that word, I think you will find a lot of different translation. Just kind of like, and then contemplate on that, think on that, right? And do some analytical thing, and then see these 3 are the why, they are the reason of having Buddha nature. So somehow it's kind of like it actually, when you actually look into it, the understanding the mind and the nature of mind. So somehow that is the ultimate, right? Because ultimate happiness is the ultimate happiness state of mind, right? So it is something that achieved in our mind. It is not something achieved physically, right? Something, it's just kind of like it should achieve in our mind. So that is why, like, understanding the ultimate nature of mind, and then when our mind actually change, right? The more you understand your mind, then the more actually you know yourself. The more you know your mind, then it is kind of like in the beginning, when you actually starting to look at your mind, and you will actually, what do you call, it is like sometimes it is like a little bit kind of difficult, right? It's just difficult, it's just so confusing. It's like, okay, so where am I looking? And my mind is looking at the mind. Why is, how can I look? Which part of me is that my mind is that one that is observing, or one that is an object, or how can I actually go? How can I actually go into it? So, like this is like in the beginning, it is a little bit confusing. So that is why I think many people will just give up. It's just like, okay, well, it is just so confusing. What is the point? And so somehow, we don't have so much what you call, we don't have so much patience, right? We don't have so much patience, and then somehow, like, we are all so much sort of like carried away by so many drama in our life, right? So this is kind of some mundane drama. Oh, here this person is going here. This is, it's just kind of like in the mundane world. This so and so are doing this, so and so is doing that, and then just kind of like always competition. Something like, oh, who has the more money, who has the less money, who has a better car, who doesn't have a better car, who has a nicer house, who doesn't have, and whose status, oh, these people are doing something, and gossiping about other people and political things, and all these things are entertaining, right? It's entertaining. It's just like, because our mind, kind of our, conceptual mind is so happy, jumping from here and there, and then at the end of the day, what is the point, right? At the end of the day, what is the point? So, like, what is the point of all this drama, like that is happening in samsara? And that is something not new. Like from the Buddhist point of view, we have been doing that. It is just kind of, we have to learn how to say, been there, done that, right? Been there, done that. It's just kind of like, not only this life, in our like limitless past life, and that's we have been doing, right? This is not something amazing, right? But it's just kind of like in many past life we have done that, and that is why we are still attached to this thing. And so when we actually talk about this kind of Buddha nature and stuff like that, maybe our afflictive mind will say, okay, nonsense, what is the point? But before we actually say it is a nonsense, we should actually know. And if it is true that we have that much limitless potential, and if we are wasting our potential, then it is waste, right? It's a waste. So if we have this potential, and if we know this potential, and then we are actually making our life meaningful, right? So that is why I think that Buddha nature is an important thing, because it will give us hope. It will make us optimistic, right? Kind of becoming more optimistic. So that is, I think, today, in this short period of time, I just explained Buddha nature. Actually, to go more deep into the meaning, there are so many different ways to understand, the Senkichunyi. Like, as the mind improve, right? When our mind improve or become better, somehow, the nature of the mind also becomes better. But then that is so confusing, right? So then if it is the nature of the mind, if my nature of the mind and your nature of the mind is same, then the ultimate nature of the Buddha mind and ultimate nature of my mind is same, then how come, like, there's a tijesim gichunyi, timesim gichunyi, which is kind of like afflictive mind's nature of mind, and then kind of like a mind that is clear from afflictions, nature of mind. So then one is called the Buddha's, one is called the like a truth body of the Buddha. One is, my mind is, why it is not called the truth body of my mind nature is not called. Why it is not the, Dharmakaya. Why it is not Dharmakaya, right? So then like this, like to be able to understand, there are so many different kind of like ways to actually understand this. Because it is like so kind of like it is very deep. For example, when we actually kind of like improve, when we actually with our meditation, say for example, you understand your mind first, right, on the relative level, and then your mind actually, you are actually kind of analyzing your mind, and when you analyze your mind, the characteristic of your mind, then you analyze. And then when you go into characteristic of the mind, so there is a impermanence nature of mind, right? And then mind that is sort of like the struggling nature of mind. And then like a selflessness nature of mind, right? And then not inherently nature of mind. Sort of like the more you analyze it, the more you actually understand the different characteristic of the mind. So the ultimately, like when you understand the ultimate nature of the mind that is not inherently exists, that exists interdependently. And so in the beginning, when you understand it sort of like using your conception, right? So when your conception understanding, so you meditate on that. Then when you meditate using your own conceptual mind, conceptual wisdom, and then slowly, what happened is that conceptual mind, wisdom, that understanding the true nature of mind somehow become a non-conceptual. So directly perceiving the true nature of mind, and that is like in the Buddhist term we call the Tonglam, like somebody who achieved the Tonglam, means the path of seeing. So when they actually see that, like directly perceive the emptiness, true nature of mind, then what happened is many of the afflictions, sort of like many of the affliction is starting to kind of like starting to clear. So the gross part of the afflictions are starting to clear. And then when your mind is cleared from some gross level of afflictions, then like after that, the next moment, then you actually achieved like in the Buddhist term we say cessation, right? Gokden, like the truth of cessation, Gokbe Demba. So this truth of cessation, then when we actually recognize what is the truth of cessation, then actually the semgi chuni, trime tapwa, means the true nature of the mind that is cleared. So like if we pinpoint, that is the emptiness itself. So that emptiness, then if that emptiness is not different from our emptiness, then why it is called the truth of cessation and why our emptiness is not called? So, but these are like something that if we actually go on into this deep debate discussion, then it will be a little bit boring for many of you, right? Because it's just kind of like, because it is something that our conceptual mind will not grab it, it will not understand it. When we don't understand it, then it is like, okay, I don't understand it, so we will just give up, right? So that is why, anyway, so I am actually thinking that, so this will be enough. So I try to explain the Buddha nature, the three reasons how to recognize you have a Buddha nature. by using the Maitreya's Uttara Tantras, this stanza, Tsoksam Kunye Chojeda, teaching Ye Mecheda, Ryu China Lujing Tado Sanji Nyingbuche, completely clear truth body is permeating thoroughly. Absolute reality nature of all existence is inseparable or indivisible, and also because of limitless potential exists in all beings, they are all always endowed with the Buddha nature. So that is the translation verses. And so anyway, just kind of like if you want to know your Buddha nature, then this is a perfect stanza to contemplate. So for your contemplation, so I actually explained that little bit in my broken English, simple English language. So I hope that you will understand, and I hope that we will all recognize that we all have a Buddha nature. Like every sentient being has a Buddha nature, so that. All right. So now it has been a long talk today. Usually I give only like 30 minutes. So now it has been 50 minutes, and I see so many of our friends are here, and so everybody tashi delek, all right? And so if I am looking into here, if there is some question, I will look into the, if it is showing up on my screen, then I will, discuss that. So, all right, so I think everybody is saying greeting and tashi delek, right? So, okay, so there are some comments. I think Manika is making a comment, and then other people, I think Ninju is saying, also comment. I think you have a question here. Please tell us a little bit about Holy Mountain Potala, the abode of our Lokiteshvara, after which Potala Palace was named. Yes, I think that Potala Palace, it's actually the name of the Potala. It's the name of one mountain in South India. I heard that, and the original place of South India, in the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So, so I think you can actually, people who wanted to know more, I think they can Google the mountain Potala and Mount Potala. So, and there are some articles written about that too. I think Ninju, you have those articles, and if people want to know more, you can contact her, and so you can share. All right, and so I think everybody is saying tashi delek, and so if there is anything that you want me to make it clear regarding the Buddha nature, Mary Kay is saying, I found some of your old talk in Scottsdale Library, tidbits from Tibet. What a life saved while moving, memories and wisdom. Yes, I used to talk, tidbits from Tibet. So, yeah, we have the public talk. So there are collection of those things, right? And Helen is here is, question. As mind is empty, Buddha nature or complete clear truth body, like everything else and dependent on other endless changing factor, potential, the mind must be limitless. This is how I understand you explain. Yes, I think that is limitless. So it is kind of like, because the truth is limitless, right? So somehow what we are actually doing is we are trying to grab the limitless nature of the truth with the limited mind. So then it's kind of like we will not actually, it is of course, right? Limited mind will not grab. So if we really want to understand the limitless nature of mind, then limitless nature of an object, then as an observer, like what we have to do is we have to make our mind, our observer mind. So somehow we have to make our mind limitless, right? So if we make our mind limitless, then like the limitless, like we will actually able to, right? We will be able to understand the limitlessness, right? So that is, I think, important. Okay, so I think, so there is not questions. And all right. So I see there is some discussion. So Alex Rinpoche, I believe that Zen Master Dongen said that meditation practice itself is inseparable from Buddha nature. Could this mean the union of the intrinsic and conditioned evolving Buddha nature? I think, yeah, I think kind of like there is a different way of explaining from the Zen tradition point of view, right? So I think basically I think it is same, and so kind of like the you know, in the meditation practice inseparable from Buddha nature, sort of like so like the Buddha nature is, yes, that is the intrinsic Buddha nature, right? So intrinsic Buddha nature somehow like when you observe your mind, so then when you clearly see the ultimate nature of the mind, then there is no difference between your mind and the nature of your mind. So when you directly perceive your true nature of the ultimate true nature of your mind, then there is no conception. So somehow, like it is like there is no conception-less. So the conception-less is, so somehow it almost feels like there is no mind. Or this almost feels like there is no mind, because like when in the beginning, when we are actually searching for the ultimate truth, so this is like so somehow like we think that there is an observer mind and there is an object kind of objective mind. So when you actually absorb, so it is like it is absorbing into the true nature of mind. When it is absorbing into the true nature of mind, then somehow it just kind of like it almost feels like your mind is, you know, kind of dissolving into the ultimate nature of the mind, and then somehow it feels like a mindless. So it's like it feels like a mindless, but not necessarily it is mindless. Okay, so that is why I think in the Zen they use the word mindless, right? So mindless, sort of like it. So that is kind of like, because as a practitioner, you know, when their mind actually totally absorbs into the object, there is no separation, sort of like it is almost like there is the separation dissolve. So when the separation dissolve, so then like initially we think that our mind is like there is something so-called mind that is you know, outside of the object, and then we think that the object outside of the mind. But then when these two dissolve, then it becomes like an object-less, observer-less kind of thing. But still, you know, observer is there, right? So it feels like a mindless. I think maybe that is why, you know, Master Dongen was actually saying that, right? That is just my thought. So I don't exactly know, right? So maybe I'm just thinking that maybe Master Tonggen was saying something like that, all right? So I think then Ninju, you are saying something, how beautiful you string teaching step by step. There is hope, there is exists a potential, possibly within us too. So I think, yeah, and then how compassionate is nature to give us all both potential. Yes, I think one thing is because we have the Buddha nature, so because it is intrinsic, right? It is just intrinsically we have a potential. So somehow we all intrinsically we all wanting to become happy. So if we are really looking at that happiness, it is like we are not looking for happiness for ourselves only. So this happiness that we are looking is, we are looking for happiness for everybody. Happiness for everybody. So like happiness, equally happiness for everybody. So somehow, that is why, and compassion is in our nature. So that is why compassion is nature. So like an intrinsic nature. So that is like another thing, as Ninju actually put it here. Yes, like understanding the Buddha nature will make us understand how compassionate nature we are, how loving nature we are, how the kindness is actually deep-rooted in us, like those things, all right? So John is saying, how powerful teaching, how can I even hope to get to the place of teaching, a place of realization as a layperson to my Buddha nature? Yes, I think this is kind of like we don't have to feel bad, it is at 52, 52 is not old, right? So it is kind of like we should not kind of discourage ourselves, because even at the age of when we were young, we have a potential, and this age is only the physical reality. Our mind, good news, our mind is always young. So full of potential. So it is kind of like we don't feel discouraged, because if we give some time to actually explore our own mind, understand our mind, then the more we understand our mind, the more we will know how much potential we have. So that is the a point of understanding the Buddha nature, right? All right, so Martin saying, Tashi Del Hagar Sang, thank you. John Gossett, thank you. And everybody, so today, sorry, I cannot go each one of your name here, because, it already took a long time to actually explain, because this topic is something need a lot of explanation. So I just tried to put it in 1 hour, but it is just not even a drop from the ocean, just like a tiny drop of the Buddha nature teaching. All right. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much. And so it is late here, so please stay safe, strong, and then hopefully see you next week. Okay, bye, thank you.